What's up, Magnetic Men Club? We are back here on another Friday with another topic for you guys. Obviously, we do these every single Friday, so you guys show up, make sure you have the conversation with us. And if there's any topics you guys want us to cover, just let us know. We'll cover those topics. Like I said, the more engagement you guys give us, the more we have these conversations, the more valuable these calls become. Today, we're talking all about confidence and how to have confidence in anything and really what the steps are for confidence, what confidence really means, right? I think a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions around what confidence really means. Like people think it's motivation, but it really isn't motivation. Motivation will get you started in things, but motivation is cheap and motivation fades. Because the thing is, you might be motivated today, but you won't be motivated tomorrow. That's where discipline comes in. The thing is, too, is even getting started, it starts with courage, right? We've got to have courage to try new things. We've got to have courage to suck at things for a while because anything new that we get into, we're not going to know what to do. We're going to look like fools. We've got to accept that, and we just got to kind of move into it and have the discipline enough to move through it. And so those are the kinds of topics that we're talking about today. I'm Chase. Got my good friend Jared here.
Hey, guys. Hope everyone's having an amazing day and another weekend upon us. So, again, for me and Chase, just another couple days, but that's all right. But, yeah, confidence. I think we just did a video. Did it drop? Or is it dropping?
Yeah. We had one last Friday, and then we had another one that dropped on Thursday that I think really follows along with that, too. We'll make sure those are linked below.
Yep. Yeah, and so I always link – a lot of people get that word, like you said, what is confidence? And really add the word in front of it, self-confidence. They're the same word. A lot of people leave out self-confidence, but I can't look at Chase if I didn't know him. He's sitting in a park and be like, yep, he has confidence. But I can see social cues that maybe has open body language. He's making eye contact with people. He's engaging with people. Then I know, okay, he has self-confidence. He's confident in himself. And so confidence in itself is you. It's within you. And it's what you portray out. And so I should probably do a video on this, but there's self-confidence that a lot of people get confused with self-esteem. And self-confidence, or confidence, if you want to just leave it like that, self-confidence is what you put out, your avatar, if you want. It's through your experiences. It's through knowing who you are, knowing your abilities, trusting your judgment, the knowledge you've accumulated over the years. Now, maybe you're, a young kid watching this and you aren't really confident. Well, that's normal. That's okay. You're starting to go through life picking up skills, picking up experiences, picking up heartaches. Maybe you've had a bad breakup. Well, that does help in your confidence because you've been through it before. This is all the stuff that was within you that comes out. And self-esteem is that, I call it almost like a moral compass. It's you're okay with yourself. Yes, there's things you want to work on, but you're okay with who you are. That voice inside of you that kind of keeps you centered within you, if that makes sense. And so those two things, I kind of want to hone in on this. Those two things aren't always the same. You can see a guy who may look confident. He may say the right things. He may portray himself out there. This is where women come in with shit test. If the woman says something to him, he completely flips. He's like, oh, what do you mean? He has no self-esteem. So you can fake to a degree self-confidence. I wouldn't suggest it. You need to align your self-confidence in with your self-esteem so that becomes authentic to you. But there are a lot of people out there who take confidence or self-confidence and go far right with it, where they become arrogant, egotistical, very difficult to deal with. Those people now have a deficiency in their self-esteem. Now they're portraying out even more. They're amplifying this confidence to sort of shore up their self-esteem. So
Right.
self-esteem is inwards. It's that inner dialogue that you have. It's you're comfortable with yourself, always still approving and improving on your skills, but you're okay with yourself. Self-confidence is that outwardness that it's a skill set you can develop, but it's also kind of a skill set that you can manipulate. And so you want to be careful with that. What are your thoughts on that?
So you said a lot there. Obviously, I think I can agree with a lot of that for sure. Because the thing for me too is like, and what I'm getting from what you're saying too is like, it's more assurance than it is affirmation, right? And so it's more having assurance in my abilities. Like when I do something so many times and I can expect a certain outcome from those things, right? I know what to expect because I've done it so many times. I kind of know what I'm going to run into. I know how to troubleshoot the different problems through it. And so the more experience I have in a particular thing, the more I do that particular thing, the more confidence I'm going to have in the outcome of that particular thing too. Because I think that a lot of people, they expect a certain outcome in a lot of aspects, right? So a lot of people expect certain things to happen when they do certain things. They expect certain outcomes when it comes to relationships. They expect certain outcomes when it comes to business. They expect certain outcomes when they really get into anything and start doing anything, right? But really, you can't know exactly what's going to happen when you're first starting out in a thing. Like, there's a lot of mystery in it. There's a lot of things that you just don't know. And obviously, that's going to shake up our confidence a little bit in what's going to happen or what we say is going to happen. We can affirm that all day. Like we can sit and tell ourselves that, oh, well, I'm a beast. I'm a boss. Whatever it is, I'm going to get it done. And you can sit and affirm those things, and that might make you feel more confident. But it's really artificial confidence, right? Because as soon as somebody comes up and calls you out on it, and if you're not certain on the outcome, if you're not certain what's going to happen, you're going to second guess yourself. You're going to go, okay, well, maybe that's not what's going to happen. I don't know. And so that's what starts to shake up your confidence there. So it's really more experience than it is affirmation, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's also like almost like your self-worth is tied to your self-esteem. It's not necessarily tied to your self-confidence because all like the self-confidence is through those experiences. And so a lot of people get those two they almost go a little too far. Now, I've been accused of this. You can be really confident in one thing. Maybe you're a killer boss. Maybe you have a multi-million-dollar company and you're confident, like, man, business. This is what you know. But you might not be confident at talking to girls. You might not be confident at developing healthy relationships because you haven't developed that experience. You've been so focused on work. And that's okay. You're good at this. Could lead to a little bit of arrogancy, could lead to a little bit of egotistical. And then that transforms is when you're trying to talk to, say, a girl or just build a relationship with a social circle, that the confident thing that you're in, you're trying to bring over to this situation that actually warrants a different skill set.
I think a lot of people actually confuse arrogance with confidence, actually. I think that that's a lot of the biggest systemic issues that we see. Mm-hmm. And the thing with like arrogance, right? Like it's really kind of an inflated self-worth, an inflated self-value. I'm more important than this. I'm the best at this, that kind of thing, right? Yeah. When confidence really is just, what's going to happen. You know what to expect. It really kind of affects our decision making, right? Because we're not likely to decide to do a thing or to move into a thing and like really take things head on. We're not really sure what's going to happen. And that takes a lot of courage, right? A lot of the time we'll push things off. We'll just put it off. We'll put off the gym. We'll put off learning this new thing. We'll put off getting into this business, and we'll just keep doing what we know because we know exactly what the outcome's going to be. We know what to expect. And that's what our brains are wired to do. Through 100,000 years of evolution, our brains kind of say, okay, well, we know what's going to happen here. So let's just do this because we've always done this and we know exactly what's going to happen every single time. We have confidence in that. it's really not the same thing as belief in ourselves, right? It's really not the same thing as like what you're saying. It's really not the same thing as really believing in ourselves and believing in our abilities. We can do that while not being confident in certain things. And confidence is subjective, just like you said too.
Mhm.
And so I think that people really just kind of get it confused. They get it confused with self-worth, arrogance, and confidence. Those are all something that I think a lot of people assume are the same things, but they're really not.
Right. Right. And also the idea of being self-confident doesn't necessarily mean you're positive all the time. It's not like you're this bubbly person. That's not what it means. It's more of just you're competent in your abilities. You're comfortable in what you know. Obviously, we all need to kind of keep that growth mindset that we all should have and keep becoming curious about some new things in our lives. But I found, even in my own, my own relationships, my own relationship with myself, it does start first with self-esteem. In order to have true, authentic confidence, you have to develop that sense of self-worth, that you are enough, that you have value, that you can contribute to this world, and not fake that part or not play small to that part. Because I think a lot of people don't really have they don't have self-esteem, or it's very shallow. And so they take what they think self-esteem is, like, oh no, I'm the man, I'm awesome, and blah blah blah, and then they amplify this into what they perceive as self-confidence, and it really becomes that arrogance. It becomes that, like, you could have a really good looking guy who has a really good mouthpiece. He's really good at talking to girls. Well, of course, he's going to be confident in his abilities to talk to girls and date them and stuff like that. But then take him out of that element into an actual relationship. None of that shit matters. He's not confident in, or he doesn't have that self-esteem, that self-worth. So he's going to ruin that relationship because he's always going to see himself less than the relationship.
Well, the thing is too, is people want to be in situations where they feel confident. And so he might end up in a relationship and he might really want to be in that relationship, but he's more confident playing the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes right back to playing the field and the relationship ends and he never feels fulfilled in that relationship.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And just having a healthy self-confidence actually helps in that relationship, because it gives your partner, and it could just be your social network, it could be your business, it gives them permission to be confident within themselves. It gives them permission to maybe speak up and come up with their own ideas. So having first a healthy self-esteem, a healthy blueprint of you are enough, you are okay as you are, but you can do better. Having that and understanding that, then you can build on what we call self-confidence. And so the catch-22, and I'll ask you, because I answered it in my way in the video, how would somebody gain confidence if they don't have experience? Because if experience builds confidence, how do you gain experience? Maybe you can come up with what your thoughts are on that.
No, that's great. I remember the video. You talked about that a lot in the video. And so basically, to me, like, you really got to have a certain amount of courage, and you got to have a certain amount of belief in yourself. Just like you said, the self-esteem, all that stuff too. Like, you have to start with belief in yourself. Like, you have to believe that you can do it. You have to believe in a certain outcome. You have to hold on to that belief, but you also have to have discipline, and you also have to have courage, right? So you have to lay out the plan for you to become more confident in the thing. Like, I'm going to go to the gym 4 days a week. I'm going to go to the gym Monday through Thursday every week, no matter how I feel, no matter what. I'm going to go there, and I'm just going to spend a half hour doing whatever I can. I might not know what workouts I want to do yet. You use the gym as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same thing too when you get into marketing. It's the same thing when you get into like game design, whatever you want to get into. You're going to have a certain amount of belief that you can do it. You're in your abilities, right? but at the same time, a certain amount of courage to even get started and suck at it and not expect things to get perfect. It takes a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, you're never going to get very far because you're going to get into something, you're going to suck at it, which everybody sucks when they get into something.
Yep.
I know people with a fixed mindset think that they're just going to be good at everything. And if they're not completely perfect at it, they're not the best in the world at it, as soon as they start it, they quit. You can't be that kind of a person. You got to have a growth mindset with this. And you have to have the expectation that you're going to fail and that you're going to suck at first. There's nobody that goes in there. There's obviously an exception to everything, but nobody jumps into YouTube and just starts posting videos and immediately gets 1 million followers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it takes time to dial it in. It takes time to figure out your video formats. It takes time to figure out what your audience wants to see. It takes time to figure out who your audience even is.
Right.
And really the topics that they want you to cover, because the thing is too, is like nobody's out here really telling you anything. They tell you when they don't like something, that's for sure.
Sure.
They never really sit down and tell you and give you confirmation that, no, that's what we wanted. We need more of this stuff, right? So it's rare, right?
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot of trying and failing. So the thing is too, is you never really fail until you quit. But you got to stick it out long enough to really get through it. You got to stick it out long enough to become confident in it. And that takes discipline. That takes courage. And that takes belief in yourself. And so those are all different things than confidence. And confidence, like I said, is subjective. It's really subjective to the skill set you're trying to build. It's subjective to who you think you are in business, how you are in relationships. It's subjective to all of those things. And so we can build confidence in all of these different things, but we have to be able to put ourselves in those situations and lay out the plan and have the discipline to follow the plan, have the courage to start, and really have belief in ourselves to even know that we're even going to start this thing or even going to try it, right? Because that's the thing too, when it comes down to goals. We can set goals, but if we don't put a date to those goals, they're never going to get done. We're never going to start them. We're never going to do them. There's always going to be something else in the way. And we're always, as humans, going to do what we've always done. Here's the thing too, and this is why I'm so grateful that we've built up this program and that we've built up a brotherhood of men who are doing these things, because you can borrow confidence from other people. You can borrow confidence from your coach. You could borrow confidence from your community, from your friends and the people around you. And that's why it's important to surround yourself with the right people too.
Yeah. You said discipline. What are your thoughts on curiosity? Because I always think that word is just to be curious and having a growth mindset. Yes, everybody should at least have that ideology of course I want to grow, because if we're not growing into more, we're retreating into less. So in business, you need to be growing. As a person, you need to be growing. In your relationships, we all need to have a growth mindset. But then there's the how. Okay, how do I have that growth mindset? And the word that keeps popping into me is curiosity. Like almost like, what if that'll work? What if I try that? What if I fail? What if I succeed? Why? Why not? I have a curiosity mindset. I'm always curious. When we even initially developed this idea to start Magnetic Men, our relationship was based on another company.
Right.
Same idea though. What if? Well, what if I did this company? What if it failed? Well, what if it succeeded? To me, those two, that curiosity mindset, that growth mindset, and the discipline, that third triangle, I think you kind of need all of those. You have to have it. You have to be curious about things. I feel. What do you think about that?
I think that comes back to the positive versus a negative disposition, right? If I'm constantly negative about things, I'm going to look for all of the things around me that confirm that negative disposition. That's the thing, is reality for us, reality is in your head. Nothing is really real. You're building up your reality. Like whether you think the government is bad or people are bad or the world's going to shit, whether the economy's failing, whatever's happening, like really sure, things are happening that you can confirm it with. But at the same time, what are you looking for though? Are you looking to confirm the negative things so that you can be right? I mean, it's a confirmation bias, right? We've talked a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But really, it comes back to that negative versus positive disposition. Reality just reflects back what you already believe. And so here's the thing. If I'm curious, if I'm positive about things, if I want to move into something that I really want to get into and I really believe it's going to work out, and I start looking for evidence that it is working out rather than evidence that it isn't working out. I start looking for evidence that I can do it rather than the evidence that I can't do it, right? And that comes back to actions, just like you talked about in the video too. Really, if I'm doing things every single day that prove that I'm a piece of crap, or that I think that I'm a piece of crap, right? If I'm not going to the gym, if I'm eating like shit, really, I'm looking for those things that just prove like, yeah, you're not capable. All you do is sit around and eat freaking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all day, dude. Like, you don't even work out. You don't even do anything. You don't even go anywhere. You're just sitting in your chair all day. I'm looking for negative things to confirm that I'm a piece of crap. And you can do the same thing positively. You can do like, well, you tried this thing last year. You did really good at it. You've been going to the gym. You've been going for walks every morning. You've been drinking more water lately. You can confirm whatever you want. Reality is just a mirror reflecting that stuff back at you. And so you can confirm it positively and be curious and move forward, or you can confirm it negatively and just continue to be obscure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think we did another video, I think it dropped, is that idea of work is always working. And it does pair in to this idea that people stop when they get resistance, when things get hard, when things feel heavy, when things just aren't working, they end up stopping. And that is the time where, like you suggest, when you quit, it's final. No one's going to judge you. Like, all right, he quit on it. But developing that little bit of curiosity still, like, what if I just kept going? Maybe the posts that I was creating aren't working. Let me try it this way. Keep moving forward. And the idea of the video that I brought out to people is, even when shit isn't working in your life, but you keep trying and you keep doing different ways, and maybe you failed, but you picked yourself back up and learned a different way to go around that obstacle. All of that work that you think isn't working, my idea is that work is working inside of you in order to level you up to the person you need to be for that work to start working through you. Right. And a lot of people stop right there when we have this resistance to failure, or we're always more risk averse to failures. Losing $60 is far worse than making $60. And so you almost have to embrace failure, because especially for men, but and women, failure just comes with life. We're never going to be good at everything all of the time. And in order to get that self-confidence, having that self-awareness that, yeah, I've been here before, it didn't work, but I have new skills. I have some new abilities now. I'm going to come back at this a different way. Right. And the sad part, I think, for men is they just give up and they allow their lot in life. And this is as good as it's going to get. This is the best my life is going to get. And that's kind of where they die. Your body might live for 30 or 40 more years, but you're dead at that point. And this is what Chase and I, we just talked about growth mindset, always growing. Because as soon as you stop growing, I feel, as soon as you stop having that curiosity, as soon as you stop having that, you're dead. You're just a corpse. You're just walking around, but you're dead.
See, I remember, like, just story time real quick. Like, because, like, back when we kind of left the marketing agency and all that stuff, too, that we were working with when we were doing your marketing and all that stuff, too. We left that agency. Me and my wife, we kind of stepped out, and we decided to lean back on to a systems agency. So we started building the back-end systems for a whole bunch of other marketing agencies out there, because we had experience with that. We had been building project management software out. We had been connecting applications and all that stuff up. And so we developed this system that we thought pretty much worked for everybody. Like, okay, this would work in any business. This would make any business more valuable. This would help any business see their profits and really see the numbers that are coming in with all their tracking dashboards so they can make better decisions, right? That's neither here nor there. But we had this system in place, right? And what I discovered when I started working for this gym here in Cabo, like there's this big franchise gym, and he's got a whole bunch of locations here. He's built gyms all over the world, and we sold this guy on back end systems. And I remember it was a tough job. Like, it was tough because they wanted certain things that we just really weren't familiar with, that we wanted to have confidence in our abilities. We wanted to have confidence that we could build it out. We told this guy we could build them out. And we got it done. Like, we actually did build all this stuff into his business. But you can't know what you don't know, right? You just don't know it. It takes experience. So you got to jump into it and face it head on to really uncover what you need to uncover and move on in a more efficient way. And be willing to change and adapt yourself along the way too. So that's the thing too. It's like, we had this system and the system worked. Everybody needs a system. It's the right system. There's a million ways to do things. Yeah. And so that's the thing too, is not holding on to any one thing and realizing that you can change as you go and it's okay. Yeah. And so what I realized was that was a tough job to get through. And when we got done with that job, we left him behind. He wanted us to do his marketing. We decided not to, and he kind of just went his own way. But then we started building these other applications out, all this custom stuff for this company, for every other company that we're kind of working with and all that stuff too. Like, that application is what we're actually releasing on the first guys. And so we built that thing up from scratch. We didn't actually put it on any other platform. We built it from scratch. And we're trying to make sure that it's everything that you guys need to track your habits, to make sure that you're actually making a meaningful impact for yourself, and giving you guys courses and a community forum where we can have these discussions, where we can actually borrow confidence from other people who have experience in these things too, and really start to understand what it means to be a man, what it means to be charismatic, the boy crisis, and how society is contributing to all these things. These are all conversations that we want to have, but we have to have these conversations in a structured way. And what I realized while I was building out this application was, if I circle back around to that guy, I could build him a way better system with what I have now. And I just didn't know that back then. And so that's the thing that I kind of came to the fundamental realization on last night, was like, oh my God, if I had another crack at that, I could do so much better this time around. But it took me years and years and years of trying different things and understanding what did work, what didn't work, to finally get to this point where, like, dude, I can build him a way better system. And I guarantee you, a year from now, 2 years from now, I'm going to say the same thing again.
Yeah, because you get more skills, you get more confident, but you get better at your abilities. You learn new skills, and of course, anybody would be like, yeah, dude, shit. You might even look at the app that you created for this company in 2 years and be like, that's garbage. I'm going to redo the whole thing.
Exactly. Yep.
And so that's that growth mindset. That's also that curiosity that I think men and women need to still have in their life. Be a little bit curious about a new idea that they have, or maybe it's an old idea they've just never executed on. And I just have this hope that for men and women, but this is mostly a men's channel, but I just have this hope that men need to understand that it doesn't matter what society says, men are dumb, men are this, all of this crap that you hear. We all still have a purpose on this earth. You all have value. You all have something you can contribute to. And I'm willing to bet you probably have more confidence than you think you do, but you haven't actually looked back in your life, and maybe some of the experiences that you have, some of the things that you do well, and actually took stock of that. And I want you guys to do that after this video, of course, is just look at all the accomplishments you've made. I don't care if you're 15 watching this, 18, 38, 48. There's things in your life that you've had to endure. There's skills that God gave you already that you already are very natural at doing. All of these things, if you look back and say, you know what, I actually am pretty good at this. I am good at coding. I am good at sports. These are the things that you need to lean into in order to start building that confidence. And then amplifying that, having that curiosity of like, you know what, I really am good at sports. What if I could take my abilities in sports and the way I could use my body and I really do want to look better. Maybe I can get back into the gym and have this, or maybe the discipline I learned from going to the gym and eating right, all of those things can transfer into a better job opportunity. I do have discipline. I have discipline in one area of my life. Why can't I transform that discipline in another area? You already have it. So a lot of guys sell themselves short and think, nah, I'm not like that guy. I'm not going to be like this particular person. But if you look back in the toolbox of your life, I guarantee you probably have more confidence than you do. You just don't realize it.
Absolutely. See, the thing is too, it comes from experience. Like, that's the best way I can put it. It just comes from throwing yourself at a thing again and again and again and again, and being okay with sucking at it at first, right? Like, you got to be okay with just not being very good at things at first, and just have the expectation that you're not going to be. I remember when I started building websites back in 2014, like, I was building them from scratch. I hated it. I hated it. I love building websites now. I hated it in 2014 just because I wasn't good at it. It took me so long. I couldn't figure out why certain things weren't working the way they were supposed to. Back then, we didn't have all the platforms that we have today to just kind of build things on with no code, right? I had to code things from scratch if I wanted certain custom things. And I had to get good at programming.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to get good at programming. It took years. It took years and years of just throwing myself at it again and again. I remember when I first started programming back in 2011. I started programming. I sucked. I had no idea what I was doing. I brought out this basic thing that would just pop up "Hello World" on the screen. I'm like, hey, look at that. That's awesome. And then it would get really complicated really fast. I don't understand what any line of this is doing. And I remember that, like, I would follow through on all these courses and stuff too, and get things put together. And I would have no idea why they worked, why they didn't work, what was going on. There was and I hated it, man. I had to keep throwing myself at it, but I really wanted to learn it. Like, there was no way through it other than just throwing myself at it again and again and again. The same thing's true with the gym. The same thing's true with eating healthy. The same thing's true with overcoming habits, all that stuff. You just got to get back up every time you fail.
Yeah.
And you got to learn why it didn't work. Stop trying the same things. Try something new. Try it a little differently. And then eventually it's just going to make sense to you. I've tried to teach my wife how to program recently, and I know that she relies on me completely because she's like, I don't know why this is working, why this isn't working. She has to ask me everything. Yeah. But I know because I've done it for 10 years. And so I just know what will work, what won't. I can think 30 steps ahead in the process.
Sure.
That gives me a certain amount of confidence in that.
Yeah.
I have confidence in my ability. She borrows my confidence. So when we have clients asking us if we can do certain things, she knows I'll figure it out. So immediately she's like, yeah, we can do it. We can figure it out. She might not know, but I know how to do it. She knows, she has confidence that I know how to do it too.
Sure.
And so you can borrow confidence from other people too. And so that's just the things that I want to leave you with, is the fact that, like, you're going to suck at first, and it's going to suck, and you're going to hate it, and it's going to be hard, but you got to get back up again and again and again and again until it starts to make sense to you, until you become an expert at it. And then everybody comes to you for the answers. I truly believe that in this society, where society has made men look like bumbling doofuses, right? Yeah. I mean, look at Peter Griffin, look at Homer Simpson, look at all the sitcoms out there. The men are always the stupid ones, and the wife is always the one that has to come in to save the day.
Right.
And that's the way that society has framed things for us. But I truly believe that strong, confident, charismatic men can save the world.
I do too. Yeah. It's funny when you said that story, I was thinking about when I went from high school into the military. There was a little bit of lull between my friends went to college, and I wasn't going in until a few months later, just by the time, just the way everything fell. And I'm 18, I'm 6'1", 135 pounds soaking wet. I was just skinny rail of a kid, and I just knew, for me, I did not want to go to college. I hated high school. College, I had zero desire. So I said, well, I'll try the military. Why not? Like, I can go see the world, whatever. But I was scared. I was like, shit, I'm leaving everything I know. I'm leaving, Central New York for
Right.
San Antonio, Texas. The only thing I know is I'm going there for the first 6 weeks. That's all I know. And then from there, who knows? And so spending those, and again, it was the Air Force. It wasn't the Army. I know a lot of people that go Air Force or whatever. It was still boot camp. The idea is you're still taken away from what you know, everything that's comfortable in your life, and you're thrown into comfort. And
they throw you on a plane, they throw you on a bus, they take you to places you're not familiar with. Yeah.
Shave your head. When I first realized, my God, I didn't have that much hair to begin with. I thought I did. But it was learning the first steps of coming out of a comfort zone, coming in of everything I knew for the last 18 years was basically gone for this period of time and thrown into the unknown. Once I got through, forget my pipeline that was 2 years after that, forget the hard shit that I had to do, but that first 6 weeks of just completing basic training, I've never felt more proud in my life. And it was, now looking back, I was like, that was the easy part. That was freaking nothing. But I think what made me feel the most proud was I did it. I went through this step by myself largely. Of course, I had, drill instructors and all that stuff telling me what to do, teaching me different things. But I had to learn it. I had to learn it by myself. I had to apply it. And I love the whole military motto is learn one, teach one, do one.
Right.
Or wait a minute. Learn one, do one, teach one. I had it backwards.
Right.
And so once you learn how to do something, then you do it. They make sure you're able to do it. Then you're able to teach it. And this is where I think coaching and this community that we've built, we're able to teach. We're able to learn from new people, but we've already been there. We've already done that. Like, listen, it might be a little bit different scenario, but the principles are the same. We're taking you out of your element. You're no doubt scared about this new business idea. Maybe again, going into the gym. Maybe again, you go through a divorce and now you're learning to maybe get back out there and find love again. All of this is taking you out of your element from what you knew. And as you get little wins, you develop more confidence. And this is what we want you to do. It's baby steps. The one thing in the research I did this that I don't agree with is always says think big or have big goals. I think that's a detriment to developing confidence because your goal might be so big, which is great, but you have no little goals underneath it.
Right.
And what I teach men in this is have baby steps. And if you can complete those baby steps, the big goal is going to happen. You just need baby steps. And I think a lot of men fall short. They're like, oh, $20 million in 5 years. Well, that's not a goal. You haven't really, that's just your idea. So we have to make your goal realistic, and is it attainable? And is it attainable based on your current skill set? Then if it's not, what skill set do you need? We go back to the be, do, have model. Who do you need to be? As that person, what do you need to do? The have takes care of itself. So all of these concepts that Chase and I talk about, all the videos on our YouTube, they are actually interlinked. They're not just thrown out there in this pie in the sky. All of these things are specifically tailored for a reason. Confidence is just such a small part of it, but it's a big part of growth. It's a scorecard of growth in a way, because the more shit you've been through, naturally, the more confident you're just going to be. So it's a scorecard in a way.
Here's the thing, though. Like, nobody has the blueprint to success. Like, there's successful people out there,
Sure.
But here's the thing. Like, you don't have the same childhood they had. You
Right.
don't have the same people in your life that they had.
Right.
You don't have the same resources that they had. And everybody has different goals. And so somebody else's definition of success might not match yours. And you might not want to be in the same place that they are. Yeah. And so we're not going to give you a blueprint for success because nobody can do that. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing though. You can't learn from somebody who doesn't have experience. Right. And so that's the big thing too, is understanding that like, dude, we've been there. We've had these experiences. Yeah. And now we really want to help other men up. And here's the thing too, my favorite part about this program is having the community of people around you. And that's really what we're trying to build out here, because like I said, everybody's different. Everybody has different goals. Everybody has different backgrounds. And so some guys just want to be better at dating. Some guys just want to have a better relationship with their wives. Some guys just want to be more charismatic. Some guys want to be more confident. Some guys just want to build courage in themselves. Some guys just, want to stop sitting on the couch and do more with their lives. Some guys just want to feel fulfilled in their lives. None of them know what any of that means. Right. None of them really know what the path looks like to get them there. And none of them really know who they want to be or who they need to be in order to achieve those things either. And none of this stuff is very straightforward. Like, we're not taught this stuff when we're kids. And at the same time, like, the school system is so jacked up anyway that we're really not taught anything that's useful to us. Right. We're not taught how to manage our finances. We're not taught how to manage society and live in society and actually be successful. We're not taught how to be entrepreneurs. We're not taught how to be salespeople. We're taught how to be cogs in the system. And that's all they do is that's what society does. Like, society teaches us that we have to respect everybody around us, that we got to be a good little cog in the system and just follow through on that. Line up, single file. And that's what they teach you. And like, as long as you do everything that I tell you to do, you get A's and then you can be happy. And so that's what they teach you. And that's what they're conditioning us for. But we want different things for different reasons. Some people want to live abroad. Some people want to live in the United States their whole life. Some people just want to rise up and have a better life for themselves. Some of them just want to build better lives around their families. Some of them don't want families at all. It really is dependent on who you want to be. And so you have to lay that out. And so that's what this program's all about, is helping you lay that out. Right. So that you can become the person that you need to be to achieve the specific goals that you want to achieve, and really shorten the time frame that it takes for you to get there. And also strengthen your belief that you will get there and that you do have a program laid out in front of you step by step that will help you get there. That's where confidence comes in. That's really what it is. Mm-hmm. And so understanding exactly where you want to be, who you need to be to get there, and all the little steps in between, and having the discipline to follow that pathway all the way through. That's what this is all about.
Yeah. What do you have any tips for how to initially start building confidence? I have some, but I would like to hear some of yours. Like, if you're taking this from a person who says, okay, Chase, okay, Jared, I want to gain more confidence. I don't have experience, and I understand I need experience to build confidence. In order to get the experience, I need action in something. I need to move in some direction. What tips would you have for somebody who needs to go from that point, understanding they have a conscious competency, that they understand they need confidence, then they further understand in order to get that they need experience, they're ready for growth. Where do we go from there?
So, obviously, confidence is subjective. So my first question would be like, what are you trying to have more confidence in? Like, when people say confidence in myself, well, what do you mean by that? Do you want to have more confidence in your abilities and your skills? Do you want to have more confidence in what you can do physically? Yeah. And so it really kind of depends on what you're trying to achieve, but we don't achieve anything without a clear picture of what we're trying to achieve. So that's the first step. Get a clear picture of what you're trying to achieve. Like, if I want to be a programmer, well, what kind of programmer? There's lots of different methods to that, right? If I want to start a business and I want to make $100,000 a month, okay, great, cool. And I want to have more confidence in my abilities to be able to achieve that. Okay, great. Well, that's going to be a step-by-step process. Obviously, there's a lot of things that you have to do in the interim, but paint the picture for yourself. Like, who exactly do you need to become to make $100,000? What exactly do you need to learn? And how can we start to check those things off step by step? And so it's really laying all that information out. It's like, when people get into this program, that's the first step. It's an information dump. Yeah. What are you trying to achieve? What exactly do you want out of this program? What would make you consider this program a complete success for you?
Yeah.
And so, Rich, really step by step, what is the plan to get there? And then what do I need to do every day to make sure that I follow through on that plan? A lot of this comes down to habits, and a lot of this comes down to self-belief. But the self-belief and understanding that like you can actually achieve a thing comes from laying all that out.
Yeah.
And so what I would say is sit down and figure out exactly what it is that you want to do, who it is that you want to be. What do you really want to do in your life, right? What kind of lifestyle do you see yourself living? Obviously, if you're not happy where you're at, well, where would you need to be happy? And then who do you need to become to get there?
Right.
And what does that look like step by step? What goals do we need to set, right? Do we need to be more physically fit? Do we need to have a better diet? Are there certain skills that we need to learn? How are we going to check that stuff off step by step? Because the thing is, too, is it's a long process. That's why you want to kind of shorten your goals and turn it into milestones for sure, because you might get halfway through that and realize, no, I want to do something else completely different than that. That's not at all what I wanted to do. And then you need to have the courage to change the path as you go too, and try something else.
Yeah. No, I agree with all that. I think I'd go one more step further and say, who told you? Because for me, and I'm kind of putting myself into maybe a young man's shoes, kind of going back into 18 to 20, like I'm confused, especially with the advent of social media.
Right.
They're seeing, and even older guys, but they're seeing all of this Andrew Tates of the world or all of this. And so the question is, are you trying to be more confident so you can be somebody else? And is that really what you want? Because there's the idea of I am who you say I am, not I am who I am. And it's an important distinction, especially as we get older. And this is kind of where I feel sometimes men have that midlife crisis, because society or the programming said, no, you got to go to college. Oh, no.
Right.
Now you got to get married. No. Now you need 2 kids. Oh, you better have a 3rd. Where's the dog? Where's the house? And then they get to this point in their life and say, wait a minute, is this it? At no point they went through a program, and now they're asking, who said this? Who programmed me into this? I'm not saying they don't love their life, but this isn't it. So the question now has to become, why do you want to do all these things? Who told you? Or is this really you? So another good one is like we always bring up going to the gym. You and I like to go to the gym because we like to go to the gym. The bonus is, yes, you look good naked. The bonus is, yes, you're healthier, you can move your body, but we generally enjoy it. So when somebody comes to me and says, I want to look like you, or I want to go to the gym, why? Oh, because I want to look like you. That's not a reason to do it. And so this all ties into that confidence, is because you want to be authentic and you're confident. You don't want to just have all of this and then realize at the end of the day, I didn't want any of this.
Right.
And so you really want to ask the question, do I want this because I want it, or is there a program in me that says I should have this?
That's interesting, because for me, like, it's all about energy. Yeah,
it is. Sure. And so this is the very first thing I tell people is stop comparing yourself to others. If you can at least pull that out and say, okay, there's this young, impressionable man seeing Andrew Tate. I use him just because he's starting to get picked back up on social media.
That's what's popular.
He's a multimillionaire, 6'4", so he's your height, bald, women all around him. Guys gravitate to him, especially the younger crowds, but you're not him.
So you're chasing a feeling.
Comparing yourself to him. You might want his confidence, but you need to get it in your own way. That's kind of where I was leaning into. We're saying the same thing, but there's that extra step in really sitting there and understanding what is the blueprint for my life, but really why. Is the blueprint a program that I'm supposed to follow, or is this really my blueprint? And that's kind of where you really need to ask. And then you start creating that toolbox of everything that you've done in your life, all the good things, all of that, and to start realizing, you know what, I do have confidence in the things that I've done. Now start bringing it in your new life. Say, okay, what can I use this for? I've used it and I got confidence on all the wrong things. I hate my job, but I'm really good at it. I want to start my own company. You can still bring that in to this new company if you're willing to make those changes.
Who are you doing it for?
Right.
I think it's another question that you have to ask too. Because I remember when I was younger, when I was in high school, all that stuff too, like my teachers, I did really well in high school. Like I was really praised all the time and all that kind of stuff, right? And I liked the praise. I loved it when everybody would praise me, when I would get awards, I'd get on the honor list, all that kind of stuff too. I did the same thing in college.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though. Who are you doing that for? Like,
right.
Who are you trying to impress?
No.
At the end of the day, like, are you doing it for your parents because they believe that you should go achieve these things? Are you doing it for the school, your teachers, just to impress them? Are you doing it so that people give you praise? Like, what is that really going to get you at the end of the day? Mm-hmm. See, for me, like, I go to the gym because I feel really good when I go to the gym. Yeah. It feels amazing. I love how I feel after that. I love how I feel strong after that. I love how much energy I have after that. I love how positive I feel after that and how much I want to just go do other things after it. It leads to more energy for me. And so for me, it's all about the energy level. And that's for me. That's not for anybody else. Granted, yeah, cool. I look good. It makes me look better. Absolutely. Eating right makes me look better. Sure. But that's not for me. Sure, that can lead to more confidence and I put myself in more situations because I feel like I look good, but it's all about how I feel. Like you can have a guy who's been going to the gym for the last 30 years, but he thinks that, my legs are too small. I got chicken legs. And so that's the thing. It's like, it comes back to the psycho-cybernetics principles, right? From Maxwell Maltz. Like he talked about this too. He did plastic surgery on people for many, many years. And he would notice that he would fix their ears and he'd fix their noses and all these different things about them. And then they would go live their life exactly the same way as if they still had those ailments, even though he fixed them, because they didn't believe it in themselves. Right. And so that's really the thing. It's like, you got to do more for you and how you want to feel and where you want to be. Don't go try and get the best body in the world, get the six pack and all that stuff just to try to impress the girls. That won't leave you feeling fulfilled. Right. And so that's the major thing too, is like, what are you doing for you? And are you trying to get good grades to impress you? Or are you trying to get good grades to impress your parents? Are you trying to go to college because it impresses you? Right. Or are you trying to impress your parents? Or are you trying to do what your parents told you to do? Because like, I remember when I was a kid, my grandparents, my parents, my aunts, uncles, all of my teachers, my counselors, they all told me I had to go to college. Like, you're not going to be successful if you don't go to college. You got to try harder. You got to get better grades, all these things. And so I went to college and I hated college. I was not happy in college. I realized that, dude, I just want to learn all the things that I want to learn. And you guys are telling me I have to learn all these things I don't give a shit about. And so I've started to realize that. And so I dropped out of college. I'm like, I'm done with this. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I want to go be an entrepreneur. And so that's what I really started to move myself into. Like, what do I need to do? Who do I need to be? What do I need to learn in order to become an entrepreneur? Because back in 2014, I had no idea how to get clients online. I had no idea how to make sales. I had to get better at all those things. I had to build myself up into a person who could do the programming, who could run the ads, who could build the websites, who could do the sales on the back end. And so those are the things that I wanted to focus on learning. So I started getting coaches for those different things to teach me how to do those things better. And that was way more valuable than college. And I spent way more money on it, I'll tell you that. But it really put me in a position. Though. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, it's unlimited now. I'm not limited to how much money I can make. I can make as much money as I want to make. I can start as many companies as I want to start. I can do anything I want to do. I can work with anyone. And if I'm not happy with working with certain people, I can move on and work with somebody else. It doesn't matter. And so putting yourself in that position, that's for me. Like, I hated college. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted ownership of my life and I wanted ultimate freedom. And I knew that if I wanted to live abroad and I wanted to make money online and I really wanted to do all these different things with my family, because I didn't want to leave my family and live abroad, right? I wanted to bring everybody with me. I wanted my dogs with me. I wanted to live in a house that would accept all those things. And so what do I need to do all those things? Step by step by step by step. One of the most uncomfortable things I ever did was leave college. Yeah. One of the other most uncomfortable things I ever did was move abroad, man. Like, it was all extremely hard. but it was just a step-by-step process. And so all I had to do was say, okay, I want this. I was sitting in a cubicle at the IRS, and I'm like, I want to live in Cabo. I'm sick of being in this cubicle. I was looking at pictures of my parents in Cabo on the beach, all that stuff. I'm like, I want to be on those beaches.
Yeah.
And here I am. Yeah. And that's what happened, step by step. I just, okay, that's the goal. That's what I want to do. What do I need to do? Who do I need to become in order to get there? Yeah. And here I am. It's just a step-by-step process.
Yeah, you develop that be-do-have mindset, that growth mindset. And I think if we can all start to develop that, we could probably do some other videos specific on that, because I think that is the most quintessential blueprint you can have for your life. If you can just ask those 3 questions, and it's only 2 questions, and execute on those answers, you have an amazing life. A lot of people, it's a little bit hard because of the growth. They would have to change something. They have to become somebody else in order to have that. And that's a hard pill to swallow, because like you said, your reality is your reality. What you believe you are and what your brain is telling you you are. You have to break that mold. And a lot of people, I said, truth to a lot of people, they don't care. It's their own objective reality. It's really all they care about.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody wants to be the same character in a better life. Yeah. Like, they don't actually want to change anything about themselves or what they do, because it's hard. And they would like to just have $1 million and keep being the same person. Yeah. They'd like to just make $100 million. There's a lot of entitlement there too. Obviously, a lot of people feel entitled in today's society. Society built us up into entitled creatures. It's just what it's done. That's why we have a lot of problems with women and stuff too. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're not entitled to anything. You have to earn everything you ever have, especially as a man. Yeah. As a man, you have to earn everything. The burden of performance is on you. Mm-hmm. And so just accept it and just realize that that's the pathway to freedom. That's exactly what's going to set you free. Yeah. And it's not about what you achieve. It's about who you become. And you want to level yourself up into the best character possible. Yeah. And so it's all about character traits. What part of my character traits am I trying to level up? Am I trying to be a better people person? Am I trying to be more charismatic? Am I trying to be more confident in certain situations? Yeah. What exactly am I trying, like which attributes? Like, think of it as a game creator, right? You're trying to create the perfect character and you're moving those attributes up. Yeah. 100% confidence, 100% charisma. I got to be this. I got to be that. I got to have less of this. I got to have less of that. And you start moving all those attributes, right? What are those attributes to you? When do you consider yourself a fully leveled up character? Because I've put the game analogy in here before too, where the video game world doesn't change. The bosses don't change. Like, you level your character up and you just go smash everything in that world, because that's the real world too. You can actually turn the real world into a game. You can level yourself up as the best character possible, but you got to focus on leveling you up for you and not for anybody else, and not just achieving certain things. You will achieve more when you level up, but the person that you are obviously can't get to where you want to be. Mm-hmm. And so who do you need to become to get there? And that is the first step.
Yep. This was a good one today. And guys, if you are still on the fence with this, obviously we're rolling out a whole new set of programs very soon, but definitely book a call with us. Go to the website. It'll be linked down below. If you do want to get a discovery call, maybe it's not just on confidence. Maybe you have confidence, but a part of you has lost their confidence because of a divorce or a bad breakup. Or again, maybe you're a high income earner, so you're very confident in your job. Maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're a lawyer, whatever, but you're not confident in relationships. Now, we're not, Chase, nor I, or nobody on our team are pickup artists. We're really talking about interpersonal relationship with yourself. And once you can understand that, your relationship with the opposite sex becomes a lot easier. So this is what we're talking about. If you're looking for pickup artists and all that, this isn't for you. We're not talking about that. But even pickup artists generally have fairly low self-esteem. I'll leave it at that, because they're looking for affirmation and how much body count they can get. But what we're talking about, maybe you're very confident in one area of your life and you're not sure how to get confident in another area. We can help you with that, because the skill set you learned confidence in one area can help you in this new area you just might not be able to see that gap. And that's what we're here to help you with. So book that call with us, and we're be glad to work with you. If we're a good fit, we can definitely get going on a one-on-one type of situation with you. So
well, that's just it too. The difference between what we do and what a pickup artist does. Obviously, a pickup artist is going to be more specific to that one thing. And they're most likely just going to give you a whole bunch of tactics. Just say this to her. Just say that to her. Just go do this. If you just do that, if you just touch your arm, you know. I mean, I've read the Neil Strauss books, and obviously that's what a lot of that stuff is just tactics. We're not here to give you tactics. We're here to level you up. We're here to really help you become somebody that you need to be. And, you know, that'll make you better at every aspect of life, even if it's dating, whatever it is. It'll make you better at everything. It's really about becoming a magnetic man that attracts the things that you want to you, because having a more charismatic nature and being more confident is obviously going to attract more people to you. Yeah. And so that's what this is all about. That's why we started this program. We really just want to create that brotherhood of men and kick that boy crisis in the ass, man, and really start to create more men in the world that can save it. Because the world's heading in a crazy place, and we need strong men to make sure that we can fix it. And that's really what we're trying to do here. So let us know if you guys want to talk. We're here to talk to you guys about anything. If there's anything you're trying to map a plan out for, obviously that's what we're here for. So we'll be back here next week with another topic for you guys. If there's anything you guys want us to cover, let us know below. And with that, you guys have an amazing weekend.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks.